What is happening, Pisces? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy birthday. Welcome to your weekly soulmate investigation read. Hopefully you guys are ready for this, because I know I am. Thank you so much for tuning in, fam. It's been a crazy couple weeks already in Pisces season, and considering that we're about to go into a Mercury retrograde, actually, I'll check actually in just a second precisely when that is, because I always keep forgetting. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, this Mercury retrograde is coming, and and I just keep forgetting what day it's coming. You know what I mean? So I don't know if any of you guys, have that problem, like remembering when things are going to be going backwards, and it's in 4 days. So March 5th is when Mercury finally decides to hightail it backwards. Yes, it's pretty darn crazy, and he's going to be going retrograde 29 degrees of Pisces. We're just about to, like, he's just about to leave Pisces, but he's like, hold up, let me think about this. So let's go ahead and see what you guys got going on for your soulmate relationship, y'all. Okay, remember, soulmates can be anybody. They don't have to just exclusively be your partner or the person that you're dating. All right. Okay, codependency addictions are affecting your love life. That's a rough one. Let's take a look, see of why that's coming all up. All right. Well, let's see what the dynamic of the relationship is, and see, if we can piece together why this card's coming up. Because honestly, if somebody's overextending in the whole roles of the relationship, they're gonna find that there's an imbalance. And a lot of times I realize too, a lot of people help others when they don't want to help because of something that happened in the past for them. Okay. To be very specific, obviously, March 6th is when, Mercury goes retrograde. For everyone, I believe. If I said in my time, which would be in 11:40, I believe it was 11:46 my time, which is Mountain Standard Time. That's when it officially goes retrograde, but Mercury anyway. Yep, see, a lot of people, help others because of something that happened in the past. They're just more accustomed to being helpful, or putting themselves in a situation where they're always considering the other person, and the other person not considering them. Oh, jeez. This is both parties. It looks like both parties are having this similar situation. So the first cards I did pull is the mental space. So this helps us to understand what both parties are thinking going into the relationship, as I always say. The second portion here, the second row, indicates the body or the physical plane, which helps us to understand what both parties are presenting themselves as in the relationship. And the very bottom helps us to understand why exactly this sort of dynamic is, why is this happening in the relationship, pretty much. Okay. These cards are not straight for me, so that's why I'm trying to adjust this camera. I don't know what happened to it. It always moves, but I'm fixing it as we speak. All right. Let me move this slightly over. There we go. And I have this my camera actually off to the side a little bit so I can see the time. But we're missing a couple more cards. This card here will help us to understand what brought you two together in regards to this relationship. The card that's crossing will help us to understand what the challenge that you face, and that's a really rough challenge. Your underlying energy is strength, which is definitely talking about remaining strong and having the patience, not only for the other person but for yourself going through the situation. Because I think obviously some things definitely went down. I think there's some things that obviously may have betrayed trust, may have, ended something really drastically that was very painful for both parties, but there is a recovery factor to this. The Ten of Swords does indicate that the worst is over. And I feel like the situation is not what happened, it's the more of how do you move forward from that. So For some of you guys, I kind of feel like you may have someone that's hanging that stuff over your head at this moment, and that's, you know, keeping you from being able to move on, keeping, you know, I don't think that this person is trying to do that. I think they're just emotionally distraught from this as well. But overall, everybody in this relationship is really badly hurt. Of course, I feel like, you know, there is, you know, a lot of responsibility and accountability that's needed in this relationship here, because I think somebody in this, on either side, doesn't really recognize the role that they played in that whole situation. Because you guys definitely are trying, some of you guys are just trying to work on it, some of you guys are super defensive. Like, whichever side that you guys resonate with, you know, before we start, you know, either one, it's up to you. But I'm going to start with this person on this side, because this person is definitely triggered here, okay? Now, codependency can be triggered for a lot of things, you know, like I said, past relationships, situations in their lives growing up, where they've always extended themselves, always gave, because that's something that they were taught to do, something that that's a learned behavior. And addictions, remember, are learned behaviors. They're not something that you just, you know, decided to get addicted to. This is something that happens because you obviously received something from it that either showed a temporary sense of relief, a sense of gratification, empowerment, or it gave you the results that you were looking for a short period of time. A lot of times codependency comes up because there can be a manipulative factor to it, and hopefully you guys haven't been manipulated by anybody that's been trying to help you and not actually trying to help you unconditionally. They had some sort of ulterior motive behind that. But from what I'm seeing, I don't see that. I don't see that somebody had an ulterior motive. I do think that the overextending did cause for a bit of imbalance in the relationship, and now that there is a desire to take the power back in the relationship and no longer overextend and overgive or overexpend yourself or the other person, you know, someone's having a hard time kind of playing catch up. And I feel like someone feels like, you know, a bit defensive because they may not feel like they, you know, either they have been appreciated or they don't feel like, I think they in turn think that there is a bit of judgment, you know, in the relationship, almost like, you know, this, you know, there's something that's not quite right with this relationship, or quite right with how this person's perspective is regarding how they see the relationship for them. Like I think this person is in a really weird way, thinking that they know that is unequal, but they're defensive of changing it because they like how things are. And this person here, this person on this side here, like you could tell, like this person is definitely coming from a place of, this person is very triggered, right? This person is definitely looking at pains, looking at old issues. This person is being, like, this codependency issue is definitely brought up due to some situations that, you know, either brought them great pain, great trauma in the past. They do this because it's a mechanism that's automatic. It's not because they want to do it. It's usually some things that just kind of happen automatically. But of course, this conscientiousness about this sort of, you know, addiction or sort of behavior is now coming to the surface, and this person's aware of it and trying to change it because how they're presenting themselves is the Eight of Pentacles. There's progress being made. This person is really putting their heart effort in and trying to shape up their behaviors, whether it is slacking off or, you know, putting in too much in the relationship where they're, you know, their efforts are, one, not being appreciated, and two, it's not fair to the other person to do everything. So they're starting anew. They're really adamantly working hard on it. The Ace of Wands shows, I think this is, you know, this may have been a relationship that's definitely come back on board. That the Ace of Wands can indicate a rekindling of a flame. This could indicate this is a, you know, returning of passion in the relationship, and it's because someone's been putting in effort in the relationship this time. Somebody's been really putting in the time and showing their dedication and focus and diligence to making the relationship work the best way that they can for themselves, with regards to understanding why they are the way they are, why they think of the way they think. This relationship has brought up and helped them realize a lot of things that they haven't realized about themselves, that they haven't healed from the past, which is encouraging them to continue to grow and continue to blossom. But this person over here has justice here. Like I said, this person is honestly, I think there's two things. I think this person's very aware of what's, what's right or what's balanced in the relationship, and unaware of what isn't. And I feel like this person is two things, right? I think this person is the person that may have been over spending, or, overdoing something in the relationship, or not providing the balance, in the sense of either doing too much or doing too little, but they're aware of that, okay? Because the Justice card is coming up. Now, Justice can also indicate an apology, or somebody feeling guilty, or some sort of, taking accountability, or taking some sort of accountability for their actions. And I do feel like this person may be kind of, because usually if there was the devil coming up, then I would think this is this person trying to push the situation onto the other person, or this person not trying to take accountability for their action. I think this person is aware of the dynamic that's messed up, or the dynamic that's off. However, I think there is this level of defensiveness that they have that has to do with being, with being wrong, or being wronged, period. Now, because it could go either way with this one. It's just kind of how open it is. Either this person's defensive because they know that the dynamic was off in the response to not putting enough in the relationship, but they were happy with where they were. They're happy with how the situation was. They seen this as a good relationship to them, even though it wasn't balanced. It wasn't balanced at all. It was balanced for them. They were cool with it. They were happy with it. This was a success. It was an achievement for them. This was really good for them. They seen this as something that can definitely grow to something more. But I feel like this person has having a hard time saying that this is not correct, or they're having a hard time admitting it. So like I said, justice is, just as much about taking responsibility as recognizing who needs to take a responsibility or take accountability for their actions in the relationship. Now, at the same time, I feel like this person could be also the person that may have been giving too much in the relationship and is aware of it, but they're defensive of giving anymore because of the Four of Wands. I think this has to do with this person not quite sure if this relationship is stable enough to proceed forward, because they've been the person that's been holding the relationship up, or creating this kind of foundation in the first place. It's very interesting. But I feel like with this person's defensive energy against this person's, willing to work through it, it makes it hard for there to be harmony here, or any sort of healing, because temperance is what brought you two together. The energy that brought you two together was temperance, meaning that there was moderation in all things. This person took care of their responsibilities and what they can contribute to the relationship, and this person's handled their responsibilities and what contributed with this, to their relationship. But somehow that kind of flow kind of got intermingled, and somebody ended up getting overburdened with tasks and responsibilities, exhausted and tired. And I think the situation was that there was just like a lot of stuff that kind of piled up, and of course it had to kind of come crashing down as the way it did. But not because anybody deserved to have that sort of pain or situation happen to them, but because it wasn't working for either person. It was either enabling another person to continue a certain way of living, which wasn't benefiting their growth. Same with the other person. But there's growth, there's prosperity here. The Ten of Swords, it is devastating, but the worst of it is over, and it's just about building on top of that now. It's going up, because you can't get any lower. You have to go up now. You have to continue to grow after this. But I think this person's having a hard time, of course, because this person either knows that there was a dynamic issue, and they've either, they have put in their situation, they've either apologized or they've tried to get it straightened out, but they're defensive and they're not sure if they can move past this point. Right? I think the Four of Wands is usually a really good card, and saying that it's in spiritual, it can indicate that this person does see this as a relationship that has reached a milestone. Right? This person has reached a milestone with this person. Some of you guys, maybe this person here, if this is not you guys, this person sees this as a relationship that's hit a milestone, but they're defensive because, again, they were comfortable with how things were. And they have to learn how to do something differently with that, which is probably why they're defensive in the first place. And I'm going to pull some extra cards with this, because I kind of feel like I need more information as to why this person's really defensive. The Page of Cups. Someone wants to express how they feel. I feel like this person feels really, really defensive because of somebody's way of communicating. Because the Page of Cups is somebody's emotion. Somebody's communicating with emotion. And the fact that they're defensive about emotions can kind of tell me that this person doesn't really trust this, doesn't really, isn't sure whether or not to believe someone's heartfelt apology or someone's heartfelt, expression to them because of, what they've gone through, if that makes sense. Let me see. Why is Page of Cups coming up for the Nine of Wands? It's almost like someone's not quite ready to accept someone's apology. At the same time, they're not declining it. They're not shutting it down. That's kind of what I'm getting. But why is the Page of Cups coming up for the Nine of Wands? Nine of Coins, yeah. This person's in a comfort zone. They wrap themselves in a gilded cage to protect themselves. And this person's super defensive because this person does have either something that they want, and they're kind of keeping it safe because they're not sure if they're ready to go at. I think they're not willing to give up on their dream, but that sense of like defensiveness is also a safe space for them to not necessarily jump into it right away. I think they're trying to heal right now with the Page of Cups. And I think they're not quite ready to start something new, but they know that this is not a situation that they can stay in forever. There has to be growth from here, which is why strength is coming up, which is why that sense of like energy is coming up, where there is this need to, put on your bootstraps and keep pushing forward, trudging through the dirt. Even though you hit a really rough patch, there is potential for growth and prosperity, but it's going to require both parties to remain diligent and remain focused, and to of course with patience still work on progressing forward. Okay, I'm making something out of something out of nothing. Amethyst, you guys that have amethyst this time, let's go ahead and see what amethyst says here. Okay. Alright, inner peace. A powerful protector, purifier, and a natural tranquilizer. Amethyst calms the mind and balances extremes. Because it looked like there were some serious extremes here. Somebody definitely was triggered and now is willing to work on it, right? This person sees this relationship as something that awakens a lot of old issues that they didn't realize or forgotten that were there, or never really, that they thought that they were done and over with. I think this person thought that the stuff that they, are obviously recognizing now, they thought they overcame it. They thought they were done with it. They thought that was in the past, but then they realized it hasn't gone anywhere. And I think this person is definitely affected by that in some great degree. Okay, which is probably why this person sees this relationship as definitely a work in progress. It's something that definitely needs time for forgiveness and healing. But self-understanding, you have an addictive personality. Damn. Like, they couldn't have said it a little more gently. Jesus. Alright. Well, I think they could have. Gee whiz. But anyway. You have an addictive personality. Make a concerted effort to overcome such a behavior or obsession of any kind and avoid overindulgence. And that's the thing with temperance. Nobody was overindulging. Everybody was on a really nice sobriety sort of kind of attitude, or they were taking things in moderation. No overdoing it in any area. But then after a while, somebody overindulged and went overboard. Or somebody did something where it took advantage of someone else, or someone felt taken advantage of. And I think that's why this person's super defensive at this moment. Balance work and play. You're prone to excess in both. Understand hidden causes of compulsive actions. Bring peace. Hand your will over to your soul and allow your spirituality to flourish. Divination. Release self-defeating programs. Do not rely on others. Create anything you set your mind to. Be shrewd in business deals. Pay attention to your family. And an honest verdict and success in a court case are possible. Maintain your integrity and let the universe decide. All right, and your chakras, that it's that Amethyst focuses on or helps with is the third eye and the crown, and the timing is Aquarius and Pisces, and the soul path is developing unshakable inner peace. And that's why Temperance is the card of peace and harmony, and you know, is because you have that balance, you have that harmony within the self. Like I said, this person, do your thing, give what you can give in the relationship, of with understanding and, you know, boundaries that the relationship has for both of you guys, and the same person does the same thing. That will build the relationship up, that will build everybody back up to a very healthy state. But right now everybody's at critical, and we need to work on stabilizing the self. No more overextending, no more giving of yourself when you know you can't give. No more relying on other people to help you out. Okay, you have to learn to do it on your own. And I think everybody understands that anyway. But it's very important this time, because everybody, I think there's a lot of love and there's not a passion in this relationship to get this to work. But everyone's only going to get overexpended if there's not a proper balance. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, Pisces. I know this was a difficult ass message this time, but you guys are so strong, and I really am. I'm looking forward to hearing you guys, you know, overcome this, you know, push through it. You know, you never have to be a victim of your situation. You can always be the victor of your situation. That's what I believe. Okay, no matter what the circumstance, no matter who did what and why, you can always be the victor as long as you see yourself as the victor and not the victim. All right, love you guys so much. Take care, guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.